For this. No, not at all. Because the Detroit Tigers have made a trade. All our prayers have been answered, Rico. Okay. Andrew Chaffin going to the Rangers.
There it is. That's what we've been waiting for. You know what? Come 6 o'clock, we may be dropping a chair. Yeah.
Rico, think about the thought of the Texas Rangers getting to throw Andrew Chaffin, and Carson Kelly will be his catcher. I mean, the Tigers are single-handedly giving the Rangers a playoff berth. How nice of them.
Well, they did it for the Astros when they gave him Verlander. So, you know what? Yeah, they must love the state of Texas for some reason.
So we have less than 2 hours for the trade deadline, and we're on till 6, and Mark Ryan comes your way at 6 after the deadline. Here's the deal. Jack Flaherty is still not traded. Now, will he be traded? We wait and see. You got an hour 57 to get it done. Tarek Skubal, not going to be traded. At least I'd be shocked if he got traded, considering Baltimore got their guy. And Rico, very quickly, there is such a seller's market out there. Whether it's Toronto getting an unbelievable haul for Kikuchi last night, or whether it's the trade that just went down where Baltimore gave up Connor Norby. Like, dude, if you don't trade Jack Flaherty, it's going to happen to us again. They're going to get eroded again.
Rieger, if you don't trade Jack Flaherty, honestly, now you're reaching fireable offense. Now this is 2 years in a row. Trade deadline has come. Trade deadline is go. You've got nothing for an expiring contract. That's the thing. Okay, I get the Skubal thing. You want to hold on to him. You want to build around him. He's an ace. You didn't get the deal you wanted. I'm not angry because I said, hold out. Do not compromise when it comes to Skubal. But for Flaherty, you can't just walk away with a conditional first-round pick. That can't be what you get. And unless I hear you're re-signing him, and I'm not talking, we'll talk at the end of the season. I'm talking about come 7 o'clock, Scott Harris says we got a deal, and Flaherty's going to be here for the next 3 years. We extended him. Okay, I will power it back. I will stand down. But right now, you let another trade deadline go. It shows me you're not looking like you're really ready for the big time. I don't know what your timetable is. I don't know what you want to do with this team. But when you have valuable assets and you're out of it, and Tigers fans, if you haven't noticed with a couple of games where you got blanked, you're out of it, okay?
Oh, they've been out of it for a while. But yes.
I know, but the feel good of, you know what? We're winning a lot of games all of a sudden in the month of July. Yeah, that was fugazi. That was it wasn't real. Now you're seeing what this team is. Riley Green is out for a while. Like, this team is not good. Jeff, it's Groundhog's Day.
So, Rico,
we experienced this last year. We're experiencing it again this year. To be fair,
it's not done yet. It's not done yet, and I refuse to believe they don't trade Jack Flaherty. I refuse to believe it. Apparently, according to everybody in the know, there's many teams, including the Yankees, the Astros, the Dodgers, that are still interested. You got about 2 hours left, and I would assume the asking price by Scott Harris is very high. Now, you mentioned 7 o'clock. We get to hear from Scott Harris today at 7 o'clock in person. I'm going to go. I'm going to go, Rico, for you and for the morning show and for this station. I'm going to go, and finally we can ask the man that never talks questions that we've wanted to know forever. But very quickly, if you don't trade Jack Flaherty, it is a colossal failure. Simply because Baltimore, they were looking for pitching. They want to win a World Series. We went over and over and over about it. They settled on lefty Trevor Rogers. Trevor Rogers does have 2 years of control. He also has a 4.5 ERA. And for Trevor Rogers, Baltimore gave up Connor Norby, one of their stud prospects, and Kyle Storrs, who's the guy that John Paul Morosi talked about last night, who is an outfielder that has killed it in the minors and is ready to play right away. That would have been the perfect haul, I think, for a guy like Jack Flaherty. But maybe you're saying to yourself, okay, Flaherty's a rental, Rogers isn't. Flaherty's a righty, Rogers is a lefty. Flaherty has injury concerns, Rogers doesn't. So maybe you're saying that. Well, then ask yourself about Tarek Skubal. Trevor Rogers got you Connor Norby and Kyle Storrs. don't you think if Tarek Skubal was actually available, which apparently he's not, he would have got the freaking farm? And Baltimore would be so much happier right now with Skubal rather than Rodgers. The point is, and everybody's talking about it, if you go on Twitter, if you look at the Baseball Insiders, it's such a seller's market out there. It's such an insane seller's market. Toronto got the Astros' second and third prospect for Uzi Kikuchi. That's a lefty, a rental free agent that stinks. He stinks.
I was about to say, nowhere near like Flaherty is. But you know what? They were reaching. They went out there. They got the deal done. And you're wondering, well, why didn't Detroit make that deal? What was Detroit asking for? Rieger, you're right. We still have a little under 2 hours. We don't have to get upset because something can happen. But I'm the closer it gets to 6 o'clock and I hear nothing, the more and more I feel like it was last year at this time when I was on with Cookies. And in the end, the Tigers, there it is.
They got played by Erod.
Nothing.
They got played.
They did.
Yes. Well, see, here's the funny thing, though. I'm so curious where fans are. Because, yes, there's still the chance if you don't move Jack Flaherty that you can extend him. But I kind of feel if you were going to extend them, that would have been done already. Now, again, if Scott Harris at 7 o'clock says we gave Flaherty a 3-year deal, then I think we're all like, okay, we get it. Skubal, Flaherty, Olsen, maybe Job next year. Let's go to war. So maybe you think of it like that. But I think of it like you have a guy that's a rental, that has a history of back injuries, that had one really good year that you made sure he had. If you can't move this guy when so many teams are eager for his services, what the hell is Scott Harris doing? Is his asking price just way too high? Or is he incapable of the gig?
No, you know what it means? It means he is not part of the panic platoon? The people who just want to sell because, we're all idiots because we want to actually see the team make improvements. This is a team that's not going anywhere. So holding on to valuable assets, okay, great. It makes you feel good. But in the end, what do you get? What did you have? A couple of good days at the ballpark while you're down there eating hot dogs and drinking beers? Because the team's not going anywhere.
No.
And they're not going anywhere again.
No.
So this is why I laugh when I see guys like Mark Ryan saying, hey, if you want to trade everybody, it's part of the panic platoon. Seriously, Mark? Come on.
I think he threw that on social media, but forget about the comp pick too. What you could get for Jack Flaherty, because if they don't move Flaherty, these Scott bots, as Mike likes to call them, if they don't move Flaherty, people will say, but you can offer a qualifying offer and get yourself a comp pick. The comp pick would be a low first-round pick in the draft, which is fine and good, but you cannot convince me. Right. Well, or maybe a college kid, but you can't convince me, though. You can't convince me that you could not have gotten a ton more potentially major league-ready players right now if you traded Skubal at the deadline. Or I'm sorry, Flaherty at the deadline. And here's the other thing, too, by the way, Rico. And we'll take your calls, 248-539-9797. How nervous are you? And what do you call it if Flaherty is not moved? We know Skubal, more than likely, 99.9% chance he's not going to get moved. But here's the other thing. Since you did not move Tarek Skubal, it's go time next year. You have to go for it. You have to go for not just the playoffs, but everything. You got to spend money. You got to make significant trades. You got to go for it.
It sounds good on paper, Jeff, but weren't we in the same shoes last year and you had to go for it? Because, hey, we were waiting for Miggy's contract to fall off, and it did. And you went out there and got a couple of, signings. All right. Urshela, Canna. All right, great. Not enough to get you over the top. So, no, I guess for me, if nothing happens, now, like I said, we got to wait and see. Because if they go out there and they get it done, great. But if they don't, that's the third strike. And I've said it at the beginning of the year. You could ask David. You could ask Kenny. You could ask Mike when he gets back. I was giving him until the trade deadline of this year before I start losing faith in this man.
Deal or no deal? It's not the name of a game show, although it is. I was a big fan of it. It's also the name of a video game. But by 6 o'clock, by the time we get off the air and hand things over to Mark Ryan, is Jack Flaherty moved? And if he's not, what's your reaction? 248-539-9797. The ticket text, the exact same number if you want to chime on in. Also, we'll get you the return on the Andrew Chaffin deal as soon as that becomes known to us. Andrew Chaffin's been dealt. Carson Kelly's been dealt. The rest of baseball is bragging about what a seller's market it is. All you can get for rentals, and yet Jack Flaherty's still a Tiger. He stood through the entire game today,
for now,
just standing there.
For now.
Yes, for now. Let's be fair. You think he gets moved right now?
You know what? I have to say yes, because I just think it would just
I agree
be
with you.
Baseball malpractice if you did not get rid of him.
I refuse.
Seeing what the market is, you cannot. Scott Harris can't walk into that press conference at 7 o'clock holding both of these chips and say why he held on to both. Because your timeline, Scott, is you're waiting for the young guys. Young guys aren't ready. So what are we doing?
Well,
is just what I would ask.
Rico, the other thing, too, is, and I am no genius when it comes to this, but sometimes, Justin Verlander, 2017, guys pitch to get the F out of town. They pitch their ass off to get the F out of town. So now that Skubal and Flaherty are maybe not going anywhere, you wonder what the drop-off is going to be. The other thing, too, is this team has nothing to play for because they're dead. And then the other thing, too, is anybody that wants to say, but, they could extend them. And even if they do extend them, why wouldn't you go to Jack and say, Jack, buddy, we love you. You're great. Here's the deal. You're a competitor. You're 29. You want to play for the postseason. How about we deal you? Scratch your back. We get something in return, scratch our back, and then we'll revisit the whole extension thing in the offseason. And if you still love us, because you should, because we have Chris Fetter, then we'll sign you. That's what good organizations do.
But Rieger, wouldn't that hurt his feelings?
Our feelings. You know,
man, F your feelings. Yeah, here's a ring. Go get a ring. We'll bring you back.
And millions of dollars.
We'll do this. Yeah.
Yeah, Hatchet and I were talking about it. I love when the broadcasters make such a big deal about how tough it is when these players get traded. They don't move themselves. Like, I don't think Andrew Chaffin is calling the wife right now and say, honey, you got the U-Haul? Make sure to put the dresser in there and the mattress. Let's get down to Texas. We'll be there in a week. I mean, give me a break. You fly.
Right,
he's going to be lodged up in a Four Seasons for 2 months away from the family, probably loving it.
Yeah, Rieger, he's not calling up Akil Badu. Hey, Akil, can you help me move a couple boxes? Yeah, if you can bring up some of your buddies from AAA.
I need
a little help. I got pizza and beer. If whoever helps me, pizza and beer. And, if you help me move the heavy stuff, I'll give you $50.
The Andrew Chafin moving party, and then they're going to drive 4 days to Texas. 248-539-9797. It's very difficult on these men. The ticket text is the exact same number. Deal or no deal? Is Jack Flaherty getting dealt? 97 on the ticket. All righty. Live from Comerica Park. The U-Haul truck is being packed up. Andrew Chaffin. I heard some of the injured Tigers and Paws are helping Chaffin move a couch, Rico.
Oh, that's nice of them. That really is. Maybe they'll get some bits, too. What's Miggy doing? Maybe he can help out.
Well, he's part of the organization. I heard that Miggy and Paws are helping moving a Chaffin couch so we can get to Texas. And it's like that Friends episode. Did you watch Friends, Rico?
No.
Oh. When they're trying to move the couch, it's like Ross and Monica and Chandler, and they just keep yelling out, pivot, pivot, pivot. That's a live look in at Andrew Chaffin. It's very difficult for these guys to get traded right now.
Right. Hey, Akil Badu, can we borrow your car?
Yeah, you're not using it. You're in the minors.
Right.
All right, so deal or no deal, does Jack Flaherty get dealt before the 6 o'clock deadline? 248-539-9797. The ticket text, the exact same number. And what do you think of this deadline so far when you see that it's a seller's market, when you see players getting crazy returns for? Aren't you saying to yourself, where the hell is Scott Harris? So far, 2 deals. You got Chaffin and you got Kelly. And by the way, Jason Foley's not getting dealt because he pitched today. So I think that's a pretty good indication that Foley, who was rumored in some reports, is not going anywhere. David, you got some ticket text?
If Flaherty is still here at 6:05, I want Harris fired at 6:06. This team will not be competitive until 2030. Someone else says, upon seeing the market, he better get dealt. Heck, I would have loved Norby for Flaherty straight up.
Sure.
Matt in Rochester Hill says, Garrett Cole just got placed on the IL with body fatigue. No reason Flaherty shouldn't be dealt. Now go get Dominguez.
And by the way, Dominguez is a guy that can help you right away. He's already got homers in the major leagues. Like, I maybe I'm dumb. I think and I hope that Kenny's nodding his head that I'm dumb. But I think Scott Harris is just playing the role of impress me. I think he has his asking price. Nobody's met it just yet. And he's just holding out. And he's playing a little game of chicken. And I think eventually he will have to flinch. But I do believe you're going to get a nice return for Jack Flaherty. I refuse to believe he's not going to get dealt.
Rieger, you can play impress me when it comes to Skubal. And I'm not going to be upset because Skubal is this is my price. I am not budging. If you do not pay this, he's going to be a Tiger. I can respect that, and great. You had standards. But for Flaherty, you can't have 2 years where you had a guy with an expiring deal and you did nothing. Now, last year, he was all set to move him to the Dodgers. I gave him partial credit.
He got his deal.
He had the deal in place. He just forgot to talk to the other party. He was dealing, and he got stood up at the altar.
See, here's the thing, and we'll probably get the answer to this later when he speaks, because I'm sure Jeff Rieger's going to ask him. But if
7 o'clock press conference, people.
If Norby was offered from the Orioles for Flaherty, you say yes. Why are you holding out for more if that's what he did?
Right, but I do think, I could be wrong about this, maybe in the Trevor Rogers deal, Miami sends Trevor Rogers to Baltimore, and Baltimore gives up Stowers and Norby. Maybe control had something to do with it.
Possibly.
Because you still got 2 years with this Trevor Rogers who almost won Rookie of the Year, right?
And you would only have
nothing.
The rest
you got
of this
2
year.
months
Yes,
with Jack Flaherty.
So I get that.
And we're led to believe Elias, the GM for Baltimore, how much he loves his prospects. And it probably is very difficult for him to give up a guy like Norby.
But at this point, he has to get rid of some of them. They can't all play in the majors. There's no more room on the 40-man.
No, like seriously, Elias is going to be looking back after the postseason saying, I'm a dumbass. Because I tried to go on the cheap and keep all my prospects here when I could have had a guy like Tarek Skubal, obviously anchoring my rotation, a lefty, and I could have had him for 3 postseasons.
Yeah, and is it wrong? I know we're talking Tigers here, but is it wrong that I'm now rooting against the Orioles so that they can now say, you know what, we want Skubal in the offseason? Just saying. That's just me.
I mean, people in Baltimore, I got to believe, on the radio right now are probably pissed off. Like, what do you mean? Why are you going on the cheap? We are ready to win right now. Let's go to Doug. You're on the ticket. What's going on, Doug?
Hey, what's up, Reese?
Hey, man.
Hey, here's my problem with this whole situation. I've watched or listened, let's just say I've been out of town. to the Tigers' play last 3 games, and to tell you the truth, the people they're putting on the field ain't very good.
Yeah, they're awful.
Our pitchers that you're talking about that could get us what you're talking about. Would that necessarily help us win any games? I doubt it. We can go through the lineup of the Tigers against Cleveland, and we don't have a player on the diamond that's any better than they have.
No, but Doug, that's the point. If you trade for close to major league ready players, you start establishing a core, and you hope to cut down on this rebuild because, make no bones about it, you're in a rebuild. You just are.
Because, Doug, what you're hoping for is that this time next year, you're buying players. You're trying to get those final pieces to the puzzle.
Right, but what I'm saying is I don't think we're even close to final pieces.
Okay, so
I
Doug,
don't think we're not fielding a AAA team.
Doug, this is how you get better in the bigs, though. So what do you want to see happen?
You tell you the truth, you take your assets right now. You have 2 of them, and you get somebody who can hit a baseball. Because right now we have maybe 1.
I agree with you.
Okay, so I don't care if they're mid-level. I don't care what it is. Pitching is great. I mean, but like I'm saying, you know what? There's not that many, Nolan Ryans out there. Yes, we have Scooble. Maybe he lasts for another 10 years. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. I don't really care. The bottom line is we need at least 5 positional players that can hit a baseball.
Mm-hmm. And infield.
At least.
Yeah, you need a starting infield of not guys who are just kind of playing their position part-time. You need a real third baseman, a real shortstop. You need a real first baseman. You need a lot of pieces. I agree with you, and you don't have them right now.
248-539-9797. Deal or no deal? Is Jack Flaherty going to be moved? If he's not, what are you going to think about your Pobo, president of baseball operations? He talks today at 7 o'clock. And then the other thing with Scooble is...
I'm sorry, you're what?
Pobo. President of baseball ops.
Oh,
what?
Man, you and your stuff, man.
I've never heard that used before.
No? The Pobo.
Pobo. I'm like, yeah, you got to take a pill for that?
No, Pobo. Sounds like a sandwich. Don't you get the poi boy in New Orleans?
That's the po' boy.
Yeah. So he's you get the poi boy.
What do you get in New Orleans?
Pobo. I don't want to say it again. Po boy.
Yeah.
Yes. You get the gist of it, though. Here's the other thing, though.
So hold on. This segment, he asked the black man if he watched Friends, and then he also can't say po' boy.
Whoa. Is that a white thing, Friends? I guess really they all were white. So you've never... Black people don't watch Friends? No?
Not many.
Not many.
What were you watching?
Pretty much anything but
Friends. Right, anything but Friends.
Right. I was probably, living single? I was watching other shows.
What about Martin? That was a great show.
Yes.
Yeah, Martin.
Name your favorite black show. 248-539.
Oh, yeah, we can talk about, I was a different world kind of guy, also like The Cosby Show. Loved The Cosby Show.
I grew up on Fresh Prince, guys. I love that show, too.
West Philadelphia, born and raised. Great topic.
This is what happens when your team doesn't make a deal.
Right.
Thank you, Scott Harris. I'm going to tell him that today at 7 o'clock. Scott, we were on the radio and you made no deals, so we were forced to talk about the best black TV shows. Scott, what is your favorite black TV show?
Yeah, did you like first and Viv or second and Viv? Give us a call.
Your thoughts on Steve Urkel?
Stefan Urkel.
Did you like Stefan Urkel? Great show. Family Matters.
This
Sensational.
is hilarious to me. I love it.
Sensational show. Yes. What about Kid Dynamite? Anyway, 248-539-9797. The ticket text, the exact same number. Deal or no deal, does Flaherty get moved? And here's the other thing, and we could talk about it. I don't know if people are into it, but the fact that they're not trading Scooble, and yes, I was a guy that wanted to raid the Orioles and trade him, but the fact that they're not, isn't that good news? Doesn't that mean that they have to so-called go for it next year? Isn't that what that means? And that's exciting, or maybe I'm wrong about that too. We'll hit on it. 97 win the ticket. Great show. All except for the very last episode when Will was standing by himself looking around, very sad. Then I'm pretty sure there were two Aunt Vivs, correct, Rico?
No, Jeff, there was only one.
Oh. No, but they look different.
Yes, there were two Aunt Vivs.
He said, but
Jeff.
they look different. Make a deal, Scott Harris, please.
Seriously, what's your favorite black TV show? 248-539-9797. By the way, Hanging with Mr. Cooper is getting a lot of love. That was a great show. He was the king of 10-day contracts. Remember, he was a basketball player. Great show.
Yeah, I was partial to the Jeffersons, but let's move on.
Moving on up. Speaking of moving, 248-539-9797. I know my black TV shows. The ticket text, the exact same number. Here's the deal. Deal or no deal, is Jack Flaherty going to get dealt? And then the second part of it is, how are you left feeling about your president of baseball ops, since I'm not allowed to say Pobo? Now, here's the beautiful thing, Rico, and tell me if you agree, then we'll hit the calls. If Scott Harris later on tonight at 7 simply says, we love Flaherty, extended, we love Scooble, not going anywhere, Reese is coming back, we love our 1-2-3, we love our rotation. If he says that, that means it's on. Furthermore, we're all good with it. That means you win next year, or at least you're doing your damnedest to win next year.
No, that means that, you know what, the biggest thing I heard out of that is the Flaherty it's going to get extended. He's already agreed to it. Not something you're going to talk about in the offseason. The other thing, my next question is, what are you going after in the offseason? What is the bat? What position player? Where are you targeting? Because you can't specifically say a player, but you can say, we're looking at adding some infielder. We're looking at some outfield help. We're looking at going after a catcher so that we don't have to bring Dingler up right now. You got to tell me something. You got to give me your plan for the future, because right now, this looks like a rudderless ship.
No, I agree with you. I mean, we've been wondering about the timeline for a very long time. Tonight at 7, he's got to say what the timeline is. He's not allowed to say, well, we got to develop our core. He's not allowed to say we're waiting for the young guys in A-ball, because if that's the case, why are you keeping Tarek Skubal and really Jack Flaherty? Let's go to Joe in Lansing. You're on the ticket. What's up, Joe?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Joe, what's your favorite black TV show? Go ahead.
Hey, Jeff, let's move on.
I'm sorry.
I don't think that they're going to trade Scooble or Flaherty, and that's because earlier today, A.J. Hinch made a comment before the game saying that they're going to trade a couple guys. They traded those couple guys.
Oh, boy.
And that was Carson Kelly and Andrew Chaffin. So just based off that, I don't believe they're going to make any more moves. What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's coach speak. I mean, I know AJ knows what Scott is thinking and what he wants to do. I think it's coach speak. It's got to be. Because here's the other thing,
Fair.
Joe. I mean, you never know what's going to be thrown at you. And it's about to get even more wild than it's already been. You got $1.25 left in the deadline. It's already a seller's market. These teams are desperate as hell. You look at the Yankees and the Orioles, a half game separates them for first place in the AL East. Like, you don't know what's coming your way. So I don't think you can just determine I'm not trading these guys.
See, I'm agreeing with Joe, because that press conference got called too early, which leads me to believe they already knew, all right, once this Chaffin thing is done, we're done, and we'll meet with the media at 7.
Oh, see,
it wasn't
I disagree.
one of those. Nah.
So you and Joe, answer this too. You think because the press conference was called by Tigers PR, and I can look at when the email was sent, you think that means they're done dealing? Because after the press conference was called, they dealt one more in Andrew Chaffin.
No, that doesn't mean they're done dealing. They still got, an hour and a half?
Yes, I don't think they're done
dealing. Happen, but just based off what he was saying, it leads me to believe that they're done dealing for now, or at least they don't have that right offer that they're looking for.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, I can definitely understand why someone will get leaned in that direction with the news of the press conference coming that early. Because I kind of felt that deep down inside, but I know there was plenty of time left. But you can lean in that direction that, so are you done? Are you telling me that's it? No major moves happening? It can feel that way.
If the plan is to just increase the offense in the offseason, keep Flaherty, keep Scoob, we're good with that, though, right? That's a direction. I think we're fine with that. Is that fair to say?
I guess. I mean, it looks like We're getting looks like the Rangers are sending over right-handed pitcher Joseph Montelov and Chase Lee to Detroit for Chaffin.
All right, we'll look at what prospects they are. I mean, you're not expecting a ton.
Kenny's looking that up right now.
We're not expecting a ton for Chaffin.
Yeah, Montevello is their 27th best prospect.
All right.
And
what is he? A batter?
He's a right-handed pitcher.
Okay, who's the other guy?
Is Chase Lee.
What's his deal?
They're both pitchers.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. Not
Fabulous.
exciting.
I mean, are they're in what league? Like, are these pitchers that are going to start for the rest of the season? Like, is that what he did? Two guys that are major league ready that you just throw in the rotation? Because the Tigers have none of those right now.
Montevello is A+ ball.
Oh, okay. He's years away.
You're looking at 2026 for him.
All right. Introduce him to Max Clark.
2026. Love hearing that.
Okay, we're not going to overreact to an Andrew Chaffin deal.
You're right. We weren't expecting anything from it. You know what? I'm just projecting everything else that hasn't happened to this deal.
Here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping when Harris talks, it all makes sense. That's what I'm hoping. What are the odds of that? Rico?
It better be some powerful words that he is going to say to make all of this make sense. I mean, he's got to go almost full Kaiser Sose because I'm not understanding anything right now.
Let's go to Nick. You're on the ticket. Nick wants to speak about a similar topic. What's going on, Nick? Nick, are you there? All right, we'll put Nick on hold. I think Nick is driving cross country. Is Nick helping Andrew Chaffin move?
Oh,
is that what's going on there? Nick's in
I think so.
Andrew Chaffin hired Nick in a truck. That's going to be a long drive. Let's go to Rodney in Detroit. You're on the ticket. What's going on, Rodney?
Rob, you can't miss one of the best 5 black shows of all time, Sanford and Son.
Great show.
I don't know
Great
if that's
show.
been mentioned.
You big dummy.
Before. Yeah, and that's my father used to call me. He was in the furniture business in Detroit for years. So that was a show that was loved by black and whites. Everyone loved Sanford and Son. Now, going
so
to
he's having a heart attack.
Yeah, Elizabeth.
Take me now, right?
Yeah, take me now. Okay. And Lamont used to have the same one, too. Mama, I'm coming to join you. When Fred would act up.
Fellas.
Sorry, back on track.
What do you got on Scooble?
Well, I'm going to be I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed because I'm not have a lot of enthusiasm for our new president. If he doesn't trade him or if he passes on some good deals, I'm just leery, and I'm more leery of Chris Ilitch. If he keeps Scooble and Flaherty, I'm not looking for Chris Ilitch to spend enough money to buy hitters next year. Chris Ilitch is not like Mike. I think he's on the cheap side, and he wants to keep the payroll to a certain amount. I just don't see Chris Ilitch giving our president enough money leeway to go get some help.
Hey, Rodney,
if he keeps both pitchers.
To be fair, when Al Avila told Chris Ilitch the rebuild's over, now he was wrong. But when he told them the rebuild was over, he went out, he got Erod, he went out, he got Baez. So he did spend at that point. I do think Chris will spend, and even Scott said this, if you believe him or not, when the so-called core is established. But what I would say is the core is now Flaherty and Scooble. It's established.
Yeah,
you better go spend.
2 pitchers.
Yeah.
2 pitchers. And Al Avila was one of the worst GMs in the history of baseball. I didn't like him when what's our trader? I can't think of his name. That left, the president, Dombrowski.
Yeah. We all miss Dave.
Yeah, he should have never let him be GM, run the Tigers. He should have fired him years ago. But I'm still leery about Chris Ilitch trying to get some bats, which he could have did this year, 1 or 2. Tigers might have been right in there. So I'm not looking for if this is once in a 10 to 15 year time to get some good players for 1 pitcher. Okay, 1 pitcher. If you can get 3 top 15 trade pieces for him, it's in the top 15. Look, you're taking your chance 1 out of 3. Scooble's had 2 operations. You know what can happen for pitchers anytime.
Rodney, you're dead on. You're dead on. I appreciate the call. No, you're absolutely right. But, okay, here's the core. We were told by Scott Harris in the one comment, I believe it was the Mad Dog Russo, we will spend when the core is established. Here's your core.
Correct.
Go spend. Yeah. Here's your core. Because you only have part of the core for 2 years, and we don't know what the deal with Flaherty is. 248-539-9797, the ticket text, the exact same number. Yes.
It looks like Chase Lee pitches in AAA right now.
So he'll be in the rotation.
He's somebody that could be up. 1.93 ERA, 18 strikeouts over the 14 innings pitch with AAA rock around this
14 innings? Is he a starter?
No, he's a reliever.
So he's a reliever. Yeah. Make him a starter.
So, yeah.
All right, so that's the scuttlebutt on the 2 relievers or pitchers you got for Andrew Chaffin. You got 1 hour and 17 minutes. Jack Flaherty's still a member of this baseball team. Deal or no deal? Does he get moved? What does it all mean? Harris talking at 7. 97 won the ticket. All right, so that was Scott Harris. One of the many interviews he's done. Okay, not many, but that we've quoted. I've talked about. 248-539-9797. Jack Flaherty still a part of the Detroit Tigers. The deals are insane right now. It's a true seller's market out there. And yet Jack Flaherty, one of the best pitching prospects out there, still in Detroit and a free agent. So I ask you, deal or no deal? Is Flaherty going to get moved by the 6 o'clock deadline, which is 1 hour and 11 minutes from now? And what the hell is the plan? Scott Harris talks at 7. Now, very quickly, Rico, just to tell you what an insane, crazy, wild seller's market it is right now. I'm looking at Nightingale, Bob Nightingale, who talks about the fact that the Padres just traded for Tanner Scott, who is an all-star closer. And for him, they gave up their second prospect, their third prospect, their fifth prospect, and their 27th prospect. Point is, Jack Flaherty is so valuable. And by the way, the Padres GM used to be and work with Flaherty in St. Louis. Could there be a match and fit there? I don't know. The point is, teams are spending up the wazoo to get players that can help right now to make a playoff chase. And yet one of the guys that's not under contract after this year is still sitting in Detroit, or he's helping Andrew Chaffin move. One of the two things.
It's the Padres manager that used to be with.
Padres manager, sorry.
Yeah. Like I said, Rieger, this conversation at 7 is going to get really interesting. As it gets closer, we're a minute and 10 hour and 10 minutes away.
Yes.
9 minutes
Correct.
away. Okay. I think that they're done. I don't think that they're doing anything, but we'll see. You still think that they're working some stuff behind the scenes?
I do. I think he's collecting offers. I think there's still many teams that need a starter as good as Jack Flaherty. I think the Skubal thing is dead for sure, but I do think Jack Flaherty will be moved. I refuse to believe otherwise. However, here's the thing, though. If he's not moved, you still have a really good chance for a happy ending next season. Because if he's not moved, it's fair to assume the rebuild, the build, the core, it's all been accelerated. And that's really good news for the Tigers. The clock is on Scott Harris at that point.
Rieger, you're always a betting man. You want to do double or nothing? You want to get your money back?
What's the bet? I already gave you my $20.
I said you want to try to get it back, or you want to double it?
Have you spent it yet?
Nope.
Oh, good. All right, I'm going to say he gets dealt. You say no?
Okay, I say no.
1 hour and 8 minutes left. I say he gets dealt. You say he doesn't. $20 I get if he gets dealt, and I give you, oh my God, that's $40 in 3 days. I'm going to have to ask the boss for a raise.
Right, you're talking about Jimmy or your wife?
Yes.
Both.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. One of them. I'm going to have to
Jimmy's going to look at him like, man, you better go ask your wife because you ain't getting nothing else from me.
I'm going to go on one of the corners and hold up a sign just said, I lost another bet to Rico. I need money. 248-539-9797. The ticket text, the exact same number. Do we have any ticket text, Dave?
Yes,
then we can go back to the phones.
My prediction is that we all will be pissed off after we listen to Scott Harris talk tonight at 7 p.m. Another one said,
real quick, he's got to answer questions. I know Scott Harris is really good at the word salad, but he's got to answer the questions. He literally has to answer the timeline question. Because if he somehow talks his way around it, what are we doing here?
Marlins GM is the actual whiz kid GM. Scott Harris is just a scared person who likes quarter zips.
Clean it up.
Yeah,
yep.
I'm going to go ahead and clean that up. I got to believe Harris is just a trade deadline dud of a GM. That is from Al.
Well, that's not good if that's the case.
Hold on. But see, here's the thing, guys, and Al, he still has a little over an hour to change all of our minds.
He does.
And we will say, you know what? We acted too quickly and, we should have been more patient. But right now, it looks like Scott Harris is not going to do anything, and it looks like, team Mark Ryan, they get their wish that everybody stays together.
Mark Ryan's going to celebrate, and maybe Mark's right, and maybe it's the best thing for the Tigers. And Mark deserves a huge kudos if Scott comes out today in a couple hours and said, yep, that's our plan. By the way, we're getting a lot of ticket text, and I'll answer this ticket text. It simply is an easy answer. The press conference is not at the world headquarters. It's not.
Oh, it's not?
No. So I don't get to go there. Yes, I was very excited.
That'd have been great. That'd have been real nice. From Will, it says the problem with Scott Harris is he came from an organization like San Francisco who has won a couple of World Series with crappy teams, so he thinks he can do that here.
Oh, there's a lot of people that believe this team is only, 2 to 3 bats away? I don't necessarily believe that. I think over the last, if you want to be fooled by the 20-game stretch where they killed it in July and late June, if you want to be fooled by that and said, oh, wow, they average 5 runs a game, this team is good, you just need a couple tweaks, I mean, you can be fooled. But the track record tells you the team you watch today and the team you watched in the first 75 games, that's this Tiger team. They can't hit to save their life. So you're bringing back the pitchers. They can pitch. We know this. So you better go bolster the offense.
Nothing short of pitchforks and torches to the world headquarters if Flaherty is not dealt for a solid return.
Now, do those pitchforks have pizza on them? Is it going to be like one of those pitchforks that they have for the home run celebration?
That's pretty good, Jeff.
Oh, thank you. You know, this is true, by the way. It was on social media. The executives at the draft, they use those pitchforks. I'm not even kidding, Rico. They use the big stick, the spear, if you will, with the pizza on it when they celebrated drafting players. So I wonder if Scott's going to come out today after a successful trade deadline and use the... I mean, he could just borrow it from the home run celebration stick.
That ranks right up there with the Sheila high fives on draft day. Okay.
All right, 5 o'clock hour just around the corner. A Jeremy Otto update coming up next. We have one more hour left of the trade deadline, and then, holy crap, we can stop talking about what's going to happen and, well, talk about what did happen, which is going to be great. But I asked the question, deal or no deal, does Jack Flaherty get dealt? Rico and I got $20 on it. If you were to bet $20, which way you going? And what the hell's the plan if you keep them? 97 won the ticket.
He's a real person.
Oh.
I don't know. I took a picture with him, though. They were like, you got to take a picture. I was like, sure, why not?
So now you know 2 cookies.
I know 2 cookies.
Yeah. The one in the morning and the one from UFD. All right.
One is less smarmy.
You're probably right about that. Okay, here's the deal. We got less than an hour till trade deadline expires. Scott Harris is talking at 7 o'clock. The news of the day is Chaffin was traded. The Tigers lose. Carson Kelly was dealt, yesterday or 2 days ago? And that's all. That's it. It's a seller's market. Teams are giving up boatloads for some of these players to try to win a World Series this year. So we're wondering what the hell's going on with Jack Flaherty. A rental. I bet Rico $20. Flaherty's going to get moved. Rico says no. So we're thinking, does this mean the Tigers are all in for next year? This is the so-called core that Scott Harris has talked about. They spend and trade to win this year or next year. And we might find out at 7 o'clock. But I do have some breaking news that Rico might not like. According to our good buddy John Morosi, who joined the show yesterday, Roman Anthony, a top Red Sox prospect, scratched from the lineup today at AA Portland. And then Ben Verlander, Justin's brother, who's been all over the trade deadline stuff. By the way, Ben Verlander said the Tigers could have got more than Toronto gave up for Kikuchi, or got for Kikuchi, for Jack Flaherty, obviously. But they decided to keep Jack Flaherty. So Ben Verlander says Jack Flaherty, ? So apparently Roman Anthony is a guy that maybe could come to Detroit from the Red Sox in a Flaherty deal, which, by the way, would be interesting because the Red Sox are trying to make the postseason as a wild card team. And then you look at the fact that the Orioles and the Yankees in the same division, they're going to the playoffs as well. So they're just trying to keep pace.
Hold on, guys. I got something for you here because I'm wondering if this was a mistake and maybe this trade may happen. So Bob Nightingale tweets out, 1 hour remains until the trade deadline with 2 of the game's biggest starters still on the market. Garrett Crochet of the Chicago White Sox and Jack Flaherty of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Whoa!
The Dodgers continue to be engaged.
Whoa, he's already called Flaherty a Dodger.
So is this happening?
Maybe it's happening.
Uh-oh.
Maybe the big unveil's coming out. Uh-oh, Rico, how you feeling? How you feeling, Rico?
Well, Rieger, it's you. You always lose, so I'm still feeling good.
People, I'm looking at the comments. Somebody says Freudian slip. Flaherty plays for the Dodgers. Wrong. Jack Flaherty of the Dodgers. Oh, wow. This is exciting. Deal or no deal, does Jack Flaherty get dealt? 248-539-9797. The ticket text, the exact same number. And again, this Red Sox prospect in AA, very good pitcher, Roman Anthony, scratched. Supposed to pitch today. So maybe he comes back in a Flaherty deal. Let's go to Derek. You're on the ticket. What's going on, Derek?
Hey, Rieger.
Hey,
How
Derek.
are you?
Good. How are you?
I want you to ask Scott Harris. There's not going to be a trade. Rico's 100% right. There's not going to be a trade.
How do you know?
I can feel it. This guy is just a PR guy. He's a public relations guy. Look at what he did with Frisco. Basically nothing. Okay, this is all just smoke and mirrors. But what I want you to do is when you're in at that interview, I want you to ask Scott. Okay, let's hypothetically say he doesn't make the trade. Okay, well, how do you see what's going on? And don't tell us about you got to let the young hitters get at bats. Like what's going to happen starting in April next year? Tell us, Scott. How do you see it?
Well, Derek, I mean, that's why I think if he doesn't trade a guy like Flaherty, you hope that means good news for the organization. You hope that means they're going for it in the offseason, right? You got a great pitching rotation. So, yes, I will ask the question.
Well, the next question, too, is if, I don't want to be overly rude or anything, but I'm sure you're going to say to him, too, does that mean we're going to look at seeing something come December when the winter meetings are? Because you've done nothing. And
your mouth to God ears.
Yeah. Well, go on.
Well, I was just going to say is because, You guys, I've listened to you guys for quite a while in the last 7 or 8 weeks, and you guys have hammered away for all of us, and we appreciate it, but we're getting really kind of more and more frustrated with him as it's like, what was it, 53 million under the cap or something? Like,
Well, there's no cap, but I hear you. Yeah.
Well, yeah, okay, I'm sorry, but you know what I'm saying, eh? It's just like, come on, dude, show us what you got, because as far as I'm concerned, Al's not any worse than this guy. This guy's had 2 full years now, almost. Like, do something, you know? I don't know.
Thank you, Derek. By the way,
you can feel the frustration with Derek, and I think a lot of people where you're sick of spinning your wheels. You want to see something. You want to see this team get better, and yeah, you're willing to write off the rest of this year if you at least know you're making steps to becoming, a playoff team, a World Series contender, instead of every year it's just a fun time down at the ballpark. Mike hates it when I say that, but that's really what the Tigers have become, Rieger. On a nice night, you just head down to the ballpark and have fun. That's it. Win or lose, just go have some fun with your buddies.
Rico, I don't want to believe that. I've heard you say it many times, but you're right. Absolutely right. Unless this is all building to something. There's 2 quick things. Roman Anthony is an outfielder, not a pitcher. So I screwed that up. I'm sorry. But he's Boston's second-rated prospect. He got scratched today. So unless he's vomiting from some bad sushi or something, you know what? He's getting traded.
Well, I don't know.
No.
John Heyman tweets out, Roman Anthony's scratch has no relationship to a
Come
trade.
on.
He's basically untouchable.
Bad sushi then, right?
Well, all right.
This is
like Rieger in the 5-foot putt.
This is so infuriating. Every little glimpse of hope that you see on social media that you could connect to Jack Flaherty getting dealt, it all gets squashed seconds later.
Maybe he'll be a Dodger. Maybe they're working with the Dodgers. Maybe
How about this ticket text?
Nightingale knew something.
I want to read you this ticket text, if I can, because I am actually sticking up for Scott Harris. Jeff, why are you smashing Harris like the deadline is done? You're a disingenuous D-bag. I don't think I am smashing Harris. I'm holding out hope that if you keep Flaherty, it's for the reason of you're looking to go to war next year and try to win.
Mm-hmm. No, I think we've been fair. It's if nothing happens, if Chaffin was your last deal, then Scott, you need to tell the members of the media and the Tigers fans, what are you doing? What is the next big play? And when do you officially start bringing in players that can get this thing going? Because I don't think we can go through another year of just waiting on the young guys. That's getting old.
248-539-9797. 49 minutes to go. Thank God, by the way. I mean, we've been talking about the deadline for 5 months, I feel. 49 minutes, now 48 minutes to go. Will Jack Flaherty get dealt? Will any other Tiger get dealt? Harris speaks at 7. What do you want to hear from Scott Harris? And more than anything, what are you feeling right now as a Tiger fan? Are you, like the last caller, just sick of it? You don't give a damn? Are you on pins and needles waiting to see what happens and what the haul in return would be? Or are you happy that maybe you keep a Flaherty? Here's the other thing, by the way. It's even more agonizing when you see what other teams are getting for their good players, knowing that if Scott Harris was more active, you'd get a similar return. 97 won the ticket. All right, we got 43 minutes left. Is Jack Flaherty going to be dealt? I think it's pretty obvious that Tarek Skubal is not going to be dealt. 248-539-9797. The ticket text, the exact same number. Here's the deal, Rico. Just to recap, we'll go to the phones. We'll listen to the ticket text as well. But Baltimore got their guy. He is nowhere near as good as Tarek Skubal. Trevor Rogers, 2 years of control, very similar to Skubal, almost won Rookie of the Year, is a lefty, has a 4.5 ERA. They gave up Connor Norby and Kyle Stowers. Stowers is an outfielder that could play for the Tigers tomorrow. Norby probably could play for the Tigers tomorrow as well. So for Trevor Rogers, not great pitcher. Baltimore gave up that. You wonder what they would have given up for Tarek Skubal. But that's not even the biggest one. The biggest one was, did you see what Toronto got from the Astros for Kikuchi last night? Yeah. That is a rental. That's a lefty. Very similar, with the exception of lefty-righty, to a guy like Jack Flaherty. And Houston is getting made fun of all over baseball because they're
getting panned.
Yeah, they gave up their second and third prospect, including their 27th prospect, I believe. The bottom line is, unless the plan is to keep Skubal, Flaherty, Olsen, and you win next year because the clock is now ticking, Scott Harris is an awful president of baseball operations. In this seller's market, you can't move two of, or at least one of, the best pitchers out there that could get traded now 2 years in a row.
Yeah, and that's where I think that Scott Harris is going to get judged, because it means that what happened last year, you had a deal with the Dodgers, but it did not get consummated. You went into the offseason, you didn't really have any fireworks with this team, and now you're going to have this next trade deadline, which is going to end in about 40 minutes, and so far it's not looking great. So it leads you to wonder, what is your plan? What are you trying to do? Because you've now had 3 major events and really have come away with nothing.
You traded Andrew Chaffin today. You got a reliever in A-ball. You got a double or triple A starter that has, or a reliever rather. So maybe he'll get called up to the big club. I just have a question. Then we can go back to the phones. We can do whatever. But does this piss you off? Like, I know there's 40 minutes left. I get it. Does this infuriate you? Because the more the time ticks off, not just because I'm going to owe you $20, because I bet you Skubal or Flaherty's going to get dealt. Does this piss you off? Like, as a Tiger fan, does this piss you off? Or is it simply like Rico has said the entire time? All you care about is the carousel, the Ferris wheel, and the giant daiquiris. Is that it? Because maybe you're dead on, dude, because I am, by the moment, getting more infuriated.
It's what it feels like, Jeff. Like, once again, I hope that I'm wrong. I would love to pay you the $20 and see that, you know what, they got a nice haul in, and you got what Toronto got, or even more, from another team to help you jumpstart this core, jumpstart this team. And yeah, then you can start getting excited, because then when guys like Riley Green and those guys get back to playing, you know, maybe you got something here.
This is utterly unacceptable. I've gone from start of the show, give them time, 2 hours, to, I think it's going to happen, to, if it doesn't happen and he doesn't say today that they're going to go all in for next year and they're going to extend Jack Flaherty and they're going to ride this this starting rotation they have, like, what the F are we doing? Does this simply mean that Scott Harris stinks at his job? He's incapable of trading one of the better pitchers on the trade market when the return is going to be crazy insane for the second straight year? Like, if the plan is still the Naganagals and the Clark and build the core, and they're not close to winning, and you don't trade Jack Flaherty, this guy is not good at this job. I mean, it's that simple. The only out he will have if he doesn't trade Flaherty is saying later today at 7 o'clock, and I'll bring you the audio. Mark Ryan will be on. I'll get him the audio. You can hear it. The only out he has is simply saying, we love what we have. We extended Flaherty. Let's go win the damn division. That's it. That is the only out the man has. If he doesn't say that, this guy's not good at his job. I don't know what else you need to see. I don't care that he brought Jack Flaherty here to begin with. I don't care that he traded Carson Kelly. He's not good at his job if he can't trade one of the best prospects or trade chips out there in Jack Flaherty. It's that simple.
Another is expiring deal that if you really want him, you can bring him back next year. It'll be a win-win. We'll give you a chance to go and win a World Series ring with someone else, and then we'll bring you back here because we like you. You do well here in Detroit, and we'll sign you up for, a 2-3 year deal. That's what you're hoping for.
It's got to be. It's got to be. Other than that, you got to believe if you are a president of baseball ops, the easiest thing in the world would get a bidding war for Jack Flaherty. When you see the returns teams are getting, this team wants him, this team wants him, this team wants him, but you're going to hold on to him? Now, if he is holding on to him and at the last second he takes the best possible offer and at 6:01 it comes out that at 6 o'clock he was traded, then great job. But right now, it ain't looking great. Let's go to Bill. You're on the ticket. What's up, Bill?
My biggest complaint about all this is it seems like there's needs the Tigers have, and the few trades they did make, they didn't address any of them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I mean, you traded two guys. You can make the case, couldn't you, Bill, that Mark Canha could have been traded. Gio Urshela could have been traded. Jason Foley could have been traded. I mean, I'm just naming off a couple different guys that the Tigers have no use for. Andy Ibanez kills lefties and is a 31-year-old utility guy. Could have been traded. So why not trade everybody unless they're doing it all over again next year? Now, not with Canha or Urshela, but you know what I mean? Like, unless that's the plan.
I would have loved to see a position player or somebody with a good batting average or some home runs, and nothing.
Thank you, Bill.
That's the frustrating thing. That's the frustrating. As of right now, you're 35 minutes away, Rieger.
Okay, so do you think it's simply his price tag is way too high in a seller's market that's getting ridiculously high returns, or he doesn't want to trade him? Which one is it? Like, do you think he wants to trade him, but nobody's met his needs? Or do you think he simply doesn't want to trade him?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think that, yes, high standards, okay. But unless you give me this ridiculous, haul of players back, then I can kind of half-heartedly say, well, I tried, people. He can come out at 7 o'clock and say, hey, I put myself out there, but you know what? I went to the bar, but I didn't see Margot Robbie, so I just left and went home.
Okay, so I get this ticket text, and it talks about you as well. It said, you guys are clowns. Unless they don't sign Skubal and Jack, what's the meltdown for? You guys are acting like anything would be better than nothing, LOL, stop it. Well, at this point, both are members of the Tigers. One has a contract expiring in a couple years. The other has a contract expiring at the end of this year. And the remainder of this year doesn't mean anything because the team stinks. So, okay, I agree with you. If they announce they extend Flaherty, then cool, sweet, I'm good. But as of right now, and what happened last year, and what's happened pretty much our whole life, even though I don't like to bring the past into it, I am bracing myself for the worst. Sorry.
That's what it feels like. And because, okay, I can't explain this even better than this. The timeline is off. Scott Harris has come out and said that, hey, we'll spend when the core is ready. Your core's not ready, but you have great pitching. So therefore, by the time your core is ready, these pitchers are not going to be here. So if that's the case, you might as well get something for them now. Now, Skubal, he's got multiple years left, so you can wait on that. But Flaherty won't be here when your core is ready. Even if your core is ready next year or 2 years from now, his deal is up at the end of the year. So that's why you got to get something for him now. So that's why we're saying you just can't idly sit by and let a guy with this type of a deal just go by and then tell us, well, you know what, it's not over. We can sign him in the offseason because that's what we heard about Erod last year. How'd that work out, Jeff?
People want to talk. It worked out awful. 248-539-9797. Get to all the calls. Get to all the text. And Rico, there's 33 minutes left. Does Jack Flaherty get moved? The drama, or maybe it's just annoying. Either one. 97 won the ticket.
Brought to you by Lady Jane's. Andrew Chaffin is the second Tiger to be dealt before the deadline. He's heading to Texas in exchange for 2 arms, including the Rangers' 27th overall rated prospect, along with a AAA reliever. We are just about 28 minutes away from the deadline.
What are you hearing about Jack Flaherty? What are you hearing about Jack Flaherty? Make some calls. What are you hearing?
Nothing. I keep searching, but nothing comes up. The Tigers employed a bullpen game for the 5th time in the last 8 days, losing the Guardians 4-0. Tyler Holton shut out Cleveland in 2 2/3 innings of work as the opener. He talked about the challenge of all the bullpen days recently. The Marlins continue to sell Brian De La Cruz. The latest piece heading elsewhere as he lands in Pittsburgh. De La Cruz bombed 18 home runs so far this year. Pittsburgh also just picked up Kiner Falefa. Michigan State had their first day of camp under new head coach Jonathan Smith as well. At the Corwell Health Sports Desk, I'm Jeremy Otto. For more, go to 97.1 The Ticket or Odyssey.com.
"27 minutes. Now 26 minutes. Deadline's at 6 o'clock. Jack Flaherty still part of the Tigers. Nobody knows what the plan is. How you feeling? 248-539-9797. I still choose to believe that Scott is waiting and waiting and waiting. And at 6:01, we find out, because we're off the air, and God forbid we're allowed to react, that they traded Jack Flaherty. Rico, I got a quick tweet for you I want to read. We'll get to some calls. But a listener sent this to us. I'm going to read this. This is from Jason Stark from ESPN. He says the following. Let's update. The Marlins were playing postseason games 9 months ago. They're now doing what more selling than the White Sox. In the last 5 days, they've traded Jazz Chisholm, Brian De La Cruz, Tanner Scott, Trevor Rogers, AJ Puck, Josh Bell, Brian Hoeing, JT Chargos, and they're still open for business. Okay, so that's a team with the direction. Playoffs last year. This year, we're selling. We are going to make our rebuild as short as possible. Let's stock up on prospects. That's what you do. That's what you freaking do. So What's the direction of the Tigers? What the hell's going on? And why didn't the Tigers sell as many pieces as the Marlins sold? Now, I get it, man. We don't really have a Jazz Chisholm to sell. But still, what the hell's going on, Rico? Make it make sense.
Rigger, I can't. That's why Scott Harris can. And he's going to be talking to you and the rest of the media at 7 o'clock. He's the only one that this makes sense to. He's the only one that knows what the plan is. He is the only one that knows what this Tigers future is going to hold, because, you know, maybe the Tigers fans have just grown impatient because we want to move. I don't think this is just a move to make a move. I look at this as a move to make this team better in the next couple of seasons. That's how I see this. So, yeah, you know, as we're ticking down and we're, 23 minutes away, still nothing. Only Scott Harris can answer this question.
248-539-9797. The ticket text, the exact same number. I just on social media pressed latest for Jack Flaherty. The latest I saw on Jack Flaherty, I think Jack Flaherty to the Mets breaks just after 6. No other reason they are this quiet. They are waiting for the Tigers to fold. So there is a belief around baseball that Scott Harris' asking price is maybe way too high in a crazy, insane seller's market, and he is waiting for the best offer. I choose to believe that, too. It makes me feel better. Let's go to Kevin on a sell. You're on the ticket. What's going on, Kev?
Hey, guys. I've just becoming more frustrated with Scott Harris. I mean, I don't care even if he does have a specific trade that he has right now. You don't wait this long. This is exactly what happened last year.
You're right. And they got fooled.
And got boned. And you're doing the same thing again. And I don't care. Even if you want to re-sign Jack Flaherty, you could still trade him and sign him next year. He's a free agent. He turned his career around in Detroit. I think he would want to come back. It would make sense. So trade him, get a bunch of prospects for him, and then sign him in the offseason. I don't see why that's not a possibility.
Well, Kevin, that's the best possibility. You get the best of both worlds. You get to take advantage of this insane seller's market, and maybe you're able to have a reunion with them in the offseason.
It makes zero sense not to trade him. Absolutely zero. And I don't care. I just don't care about any other excuses. You have to trade Jack Flaherty. There is no reason not to trade him. You have the highest. I
agree.
Best pitcher available. Oh,
well,
God,
Kevin,
so
here's the other thing. Let's say that Scott Harris's plan is I want Flaherty, I want Skubal, I want Olsen. I get a little taste of Job next year. Let's say that's his plan, okay? Flaherty is a guy that's been banged up, had the injections for his back, is good every other year. Let's say they want to extend him. Cool. Like you mentioned, you can extend him in the offseason. Let's say that Jack Flaherty goes elsewhere, you trade him, he falls in love with, let's just say, the Mets. He loves the New York nightlife, right? So you can't extend him. Then you go get somebody else because this team has been unbelievable in bringing in pitches. Kevin, it's not like Jack Flaherty is the linchpin to you getting good next year or not. It's not like, we don't have Jack Flaherty, so you can't expect us to compete next year. It's Jack and Flaherty. It's no big deal.
Jack, this is your job. You have to take risks. You have to try. If you don't try, then what the hell are we doing? Like, he's done nothing for 2 years now.
Kev, and Rico, and I appreciate the call, man. Like, my dream scenario when I woke up this morning, because I know you asked, the dreams I was having overnight, don't look at me that way, David, but my dream scenario was, hey, trade Jack to New York, the Yankees, who are a half game behind the Orioles, and then call up the Orioles and said, hey, you see what I just did? I just made your rival stronger, bastards. Now, do you want to fight back? Because it just so happens I got a guy that's going to win the F and Cy Young. Like, that's what a good GM does.
It does.
Or Pobo. Sorry, Pobo.
Yeah, you learn how to play everybody off of everybody. And no, it's not just something that you see in movies. It's why there are certain guys who could just get the deal done. And you're like, well, how does this team always just keep getting better and better? The rich always get richer because they know how to go out there. They know how to play team off of other team and get the maximum for their players. We're not seeing this right now, and it's frustrating. Unless you just want them to hold pat and just say, you know what, keep the band together, and let's hope we get another hot streak in September.
Even though you're keeping the band together, like if that's the plan, it's not like Jack Flaherty is the linchpin of that situation. There's other pitchers out there. Have you looked at the free agent pitching market in the offseason? It's pretty nice. There's good pitchers out there. And in 2 straight years, you give Scott Harris credit. He did a really nice job with Lorenzen, and he did a really nice job with Skubal. So why couldn't you go do it again? And I'm sorry, not Skubal, but Flaherty. So 248-539-9797. David, you've been following social media. Kenny, is there anything? Is there at least a sniff?
No, there's nothing. There is a beat writer for the Marlins that says more trades are coming.
Oh.
This is wild.
The Marlins are trading more.
But I think the Marlins are making more moves, not the Tigers. Yes.
Rico, what are you going to do with that $20? Can I Venmo you? Do you Cash App? What do you do? PayPal?
I'll just wait till I'll get it from you tomorrow. I'll give you an opportunity to talk to the boss, get the $20, and then you can give it to me tomorrow.
Oh, it's going to be tough having that conversation with my wife. Honey, I love you. You look great today. What do you need? I owe Rico another $20. All right, 248-539-9797. The ticket text, the exact same number. We got one more segment of radio. We got 19 minutes left in the trade deadline. Jack Flaherty is still a Detroit Tiger. Oy vey, as my people say.
You still got time, Rieger. You still got time.
I hope. 97 won the ticket. 14 minutes. 14 minutes. I might owe Rico $20. Tarek Skubal is still a Tiger. Jack Flaherty is still a Tiger. However, the Orioles made another move. They went out and got Eloy Jimenez from the White Sox, Rico. So everybody's having some fun except for the Tigers. I'm told, by the way, this is actual rumor that I'm trying to figure out if it's true, that Scott Harris is helping Andrew Chaffin move too. So it's Pause, it's Riley Green, it's Scott Harris, and they got two men in a truck, and they're helping him move to Texas. They feel awful for him.
Well, Rigger,
that's what Scott Harris is doing. He's helping these guys move.
Well, maybe he could do that, shower, and then meet up with you guys in a little over an hour. Because right now, the clock is ticking.
All right, Scott Harris speaks at 7. Mark Ryan comes on at 6. He'll have Scott Harris reaction.
Okay. Rigger.
Yes.
Rigger.
Yes.
Because I'm a nice guy.
Yes.
Do you just want a $10 buyout right now? You just owe me $10.
No.
You got 60 seconds.
No, I'm going to play this out. No.
Okay.
Going to play it out. I still refuse to believe that he's not going to trade Jack Flaherty, the best pitching trade chip out there. 2 years in a row, I refuse to believe it. Maybe I'm the dumbass. Somebody says, stop being so dramatic, Jeff. Well, what fun is that? It's all about drama. All right, let's take one call. They get Mark Ryan. You good with that?
Let's go.
Mike and Troy, you're on the ticket. What's going on, Mike?
What's up, fellas? Hey, Rico, forget about the $20. I'll bet him $1,000 that Flaherty stays there. And think about this, Jeff. You cover the Red Wings, you cover the Tigers. The Red Wings have done squat. Think about it. Mr. Hero, Steve Eisenberg's done nothing. Now, what's Scott Harris done? Nothing. Nothing's going to happen, and the payroll's going to get less. They're going to sign bargain basement free agents. And guess what? This is the way the Illich factor is. Since
okay, but Mike, how do you
gone,
sell it then? What sense does
happens.
it make? How do you sell it? What sense does it make unless you're going to say we've extended Flaherty? And if he says that, then we're all good with it, right? Because Flaherty was good for the Tigers this year. Other than that, how do you sell it? That you're going to get a comp pick?
Flaherty
No comp pick.
great,
Real quick,
Jeff.
Mike.
He's not going to come back, and you got to get rid of him. And he's not going to do it just like Edgardo last year. He screwed up. Rico, this guy's got to go Scott Harris, 100%.
Yeah, that's what it's feeling like because, like I said, I thought I was being fair. And I said, I got to wait to see what he does the trade deadline. I said at the beginning of the season, we're 11 minutes away. And only guys like Mark Ryan are going to be happy.
Well, other than maybe we'll all be happy because keeping Skubal, keeping Flaherty, that's a statement that they got to win next year. That's it. Even Mark Ryan, the biggest Scott Harris honk, who is on the Harris payroll, it seems like, even you can admit that, right? That they have to extend Flaherty.
What I would say, I didn't know what side I would be on until I've seen what's developed. And as I've shared with you guys, if he wants to be 100% right, he'll keep both. If he wants to be 50% right, he'll keep one. If he wants to be 100% wrong, he'll trade both. So which do you want? You want Flaherty?
But
you
it's
want
not
Flaherty?
just Skubal's staying. I think we know this.
Okay.
But it's not just about keeping. You have to extend, correct? If he doesn't extend Jack
Ultimately,
Flaherty. Okay, good.
But
All right,
today, at this moment,
you should have already extended him.
You don't know if he's going to extend, and keeping Flaherty is still the right decision. Why? You've got a 52% retention rate on your own free agents in Major League Baseball.
No. You can't do this. Though.
Yes, you do.
You can't do this because what you are leaving out, and we know your stats.
You've had 4 hours to go through
actually,
your
2.
points.
We were on
Can I
after
go
Tigers.
through mine?
No, very quickly, though, what you're leaving out is the fact that this market is insane.
I understand, but it's insane in the sense that the Astros gave up 3 prospects of their top 20, one of whom will be successful. Why? Because there's a 69.2% bust rate on blue chip prospects. If I get 3, which the Blue Jays did, 1 is going to be good.
So you want to build a team never using prospects.
Congratulations.
How does that make sense?
You got 1 good player 3 years from now. I'd rather take my chances with Flaherty.
But
number 3.
If he doesn't resign?
You've got to, if he doesn't resign, I like my chances.
Chances with what, Mark?
And if he doesn't.
Mark, hold on.
Chances for
Mark,
what?
Yeah. Mark, because last time I checked, still our show. Sure. Your show starts at 6. So chances for what?
Chances to retain him.
Yeah,
I like the chances to retain him.
Don't you agree? I'm asking you. Don't you agree that Scott Harris would be a knucklehead if, and I can think of much worse words, but a knucklehead if he traded or did not trade Skubal Whoa, 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 whoa.
There it is.
Hold on.
There it is.
Is he gone? I told you, Rico. Pay up.
No trade, but Jackson Holiday has been scratched from the Norfolk Tides lineup.
Oh, baby. Oh, is it happening? Is it happening?
Listen,
my
guys,
God.
This is why we love what we do, because
100%.
we're here. We're here no matter what to take
And
it in.
By the way, David felt bad for you. He got you out of a bind because you could not take on me and Rico. You were making no sense there.
Oh, listen, I appreciate David. This is a blast, guys. The differing of opinions makes sports radio great. All right? Makes it great. You've done a lot of good work for Flaherty. You've lowered his ERA from 4.9 to 3.1. All of the selling points they did to get him here have come to fruition. So did you only sign him to eventually flip him for prospects when 69.2% bust?
Originally, you did, yes, because Scott Harris didn't think this team was going to be very good. But now that you have him, you cannot not trade it. Oh, hold on. Oh, I got more. I love this.
Here it is.
Here we go. Oh, my God.
So Jackson Holiday was not technically scratched. That was the lineup from the suspended game that they're continuing. He's not in that one.
Can I get an amen?
I'm done.
Can I get an amen?
I literally am done with this. I am
Rieger?
done. What?
Rieger, $15 buyout right now.
Oh, it's
You
gone
should
up.
take it.
No.
You should absolutely take that.
Listen,
you
I'm
have been
going-
digging your holes into
I-
this stubborn sand for 4 weeks.
Okay, but can you at least admit it is so irresponsible?
Oh, my
Hold on a
God.
sec. Just let me talk. If you don't know if you've extended him, if he's not extended right now, if you don't know he's coming back next year, and you did not trade him in an insane seller's market, that's
Okay.
a stupid-ass move, right?
I get a first-round draft pick as compensation at the end of the first round.
draft pick doesn't
Okay.
compared to what you could get right now.
One player. If you get 3
Have you
prospects,
looked-
one's going to be good.
Have you looked at some of these returns
Yes,
markets?
I have.
Anybody I can't do it.
Yes,
Rico.
I have.
I can't
yes,
do it.
I have. Jeff, look, I want Flaherty to be a key cog in my rotation next year. So I'm going
I
to
agree
make a
with you.
bed that he wants to play in.
Yeah,
okay?
but you extend him or you trade him. You don't hope that you extend him after not trading him.
If you
That's
can't
common
trade him,
sense.
if you can't trade him beforehand, you do what you can. But
I'm
the best
hoping-
news of the day, is that Scooble thus far has gone nowhere. That's the best news. Flaherty, maybe he gets moved last minute, maybe he doesn't. How ironic is it that the cards for the entire American League picture rest in Scott Harris's hands? Flaherty could flip this whole thing, Rico, to the Orioles, to the Yankees. Scott Harris holds the cards to win the American League. What say you?
Yep, and somehow I got a feeling he's going to end up fumbling the ball. And you know what will be, Mark? See, you're new here. Next year at this time, we'll be having the same discussions, and we'll say he's now gone 0 for 3 trade deadlines and not getting rid of some valuable assets where he could have made something. Because you know what? I was like you. He could sign Erod. He could bring him back. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it didn't work out that way, and here we are again. You would think you would learn from your mistakes. He did not.
Okay, well, I need a year to learn from these mistakes. Okay, give me a year. In the meantime, I'd like to keep Flaherty, and I'd like to keep Scoop.
Let's go to David Hatchetman Hall. We got one more. Here we go. Come on.
Ken Rosenthal, Garrett Crochet will not be traded.
Oh, well, that makes
This
sense.
is so
6 more
cruel.
minutes, make
This
a
is
deal.
so cruel what he's
that
doing
makes
to you.
sense, though.
This is so cruel.
Considering, my God, go get Flaherty. Give Scott what the hell he wants. That makes perfect sense because Crochet has an innings limit, and his agent says he's not going to pitch in October. So Chicago sucks, and they can't get rid of people, except for Eloy Jimenez. All right, you ready to go, Rico?
I'm ready to go, Jeff. Are you ready to go down there and hear what he has to say?
Yeah, so we got Harris.
I'm ready to
at
see
7.
Jeff open his wallet for you, Rico.
Yeah.
I thought I was being a nice guy. I offered him a buyout.
You did.
He did not want the buyout.
Well, I still got 5 minutes.
All right, guys. Coming up over the next couple hours, guys, if you want the very latest on the MLB trade deadline, you're in the right place. My strong opinion on the best stance for Detroit. I'll tell you where the Tigers' payroll needs to be to win a World Series, why winning the wild card is incredibly suitable for teams wanting to win it all, and what does history tell us about the World Series and selling at the deadline?
Hold on! You shut
There
up,
it is.
Mark Ryan!
There it is.
What do we got? What do we got? Don't do this to me again. Oh, my God, I feel like I'm watching a game.
Passan. Breaking news. Jack Flaherty to the Dodgers.
Yes!
But Scooble stays.
Yes!
Skubal stays.
Yes! Oh, thank Christ.
You didn't take the buyout.
Oh,
Yay!
Rico, you owe me money. Oh, wow.
No, we're just even. That's all.
Oh.
And there's not a no trade, so he can't say no.
Oh, my goodness.
Hey. Props to Scott Harris.
Well, hold on.
For
Did
how
we get
he
that
held everyone
Russian
at bay.
catcher, as you made fun of me, Dalton Rushing?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, wow. All right. Mark Ryan will have it all. Mark Ryan's heartbroken. His
No, I'm
spirits
good,
just
man.
dropped
I'm good.
100%.
And
Guys,
you know what? 9 months from now, there'll be a new addition to the Rieger family.
Oh, that's right. Allison, after the Scott Harris press there, I'm coming on home. Little Haktoa. All right. Mark Ryan's next. Yes! 97 won the ticket.